The Pioneers opened up conference play with the two teams that finished in the South Atlantic Conference Tournament Championship from a year ago, the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears and the Catawba Indians. Hello everyone, I'm Brian Staten for Pioneer Basketball with Coach J.T. Burton. Pioneer team that was taking on the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears, a rematch of the quarterfinal from a year ago, and a Catawba Indian team, a senior-laden team led by Mr. Haskins, a solid Catawba Indian basketball team that was coming in to Pioneer Arena this week. Joined by Pioneer coach J.T. Burton. A 1-in-1 week, and we could probably sit here and say a lot of things could have been worse, but could have been a lot better, I think, for this team. One, against LR, a great defensive job, and then two, against Catawba, a great shooting basketball team that you nearly had the victory against this week.
Yeah, we did a really good job. I mean, 1-in-1, I mean, you're at home. You always try to go 2-0. You got to take care of your home court, especially in this league, because going on the road is almost impossible to win a game. But we split 1-1, and I guess I have no choice but to be okay with it. We could have done a lot of things better, like you just said, but, 1-1, we have to take it.
And it's early in the season, probably not necessarily a bad look to at least give yourself a gauge as to see how you're going to fare against some of these South Atlantic Conference teams. We focus in a little bit on Lenoir-Rhyne, and the Lenoir-Rhyne team, it's totally different, a completely different team after I was watching them, but they still had R.J. Gunn, and they still had Darius Simmons, they still had some guys that were part of that run from last year. I think one of the biggest things that they just lacked a little bit was that big-time shot that they needed, even though Gunn gave it to them just a little bit. What was a little bit scary for you down the stretch with R.J. kind of warming up?
Well, I mean, I knew that we had to limit their shots, and I knew that the way they shot the ball, they was coming in as a team shooting, I think it was like 49% from the three-point line. And with Gunn, was scoring like he was, it kind of like made everybody else stagnant because the ball stuck in his hand, and he did score, but three's more than two, and he's only hit one, I think, especially late. So with that being said, I think we did a really good job of holding off those other guys and then trying to maintain Gunn.
You go wire to wire in the Bears game, and you got help from a lot of people. Not great offense, but you got great defense, got the timely offense. Was the key to holding them to 29% shooting? Yeah,
it was huge. I mean, we knew coming in, our goal is to hold a team. It was 26% from the three-point line. I mean, and we tried with holding them 29% was huge. And then not only holding 29%, we held them to 58 points, 68 points, I think. So with that being said, we did a really good job on the defensive end.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Tusculum versus the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears. It was the 50th showdown again. Last year it was a rematch of the quarterfinal game. Coach, you go wire to wire, and you got off to a pretty good start too.
Yeah, we did. I mean, as you see, Dylan Smith getting the ball, Tariq Jenkins getting to the rim, and then Brandon Mitchell making a good pass in the corner in the corner for him to make the three. So we started off. That was one of the biggest things, starting off early.
5-0 run for the Pioneers, and you hit that three. And again, the shooting woes seem to have been the thing that's really plagued you. But you got off to the really good shooting start. Really forced them to take some deep threes. I know they're a good shooting team, but I think you like that take right there that Darius Simmons took.
Yeah, that's what we try to tell our guys, that if they contested deep threes, then we'll take it. And if they make them and beat us, then on that we deserve to win the game.
They get to within one, and then it seems like the run stopper is Trenton Gibson. It's my favorite shot. He can penetrate and get into within about 15 feet, and he always hits that.
Yes, he does. I mean, he's struggled with it of late, but I tell you what, when we need a basket, he does a really good job of making that shot.
Guy that's come on right there is Cam King, and I think he's just really been a pleasant surprise early start this year.
Yeah, especially from the free throw line. I mean, he made some clutch free throws, and he's played really well on the defensive end, and it's surprising on the offensive end, especially when need a bucket, he rose to the basket and as you've seen, going off 2 feet, getting the dunk.
So R.J. Gunn hit a little fadeaway baseline shot again, a very tight and contested shot. And Dylan Smith, who hasn't been able to score a bunch, seen him make that shot off the dribble. He was pretty consistent with that inside three-point territory.
Yeah, inside the three-point line, he's been, pretty decent. I mean, the biggest thing with Dylan, he's got to get his shot back because he's a good shooter. But defensively is where he helps us at.
Here we are into the second half for the Pioneers. Tariq Jenkins, once again, has been a guy that's just been leading you. When he goes to the rim, about 75% of the time he's going to score.
Yes, and that's why I tell him, always get to the rim, go off 2 feet, don't settle for the three-point shot. And as you've seen, he got to the rim and finished.
All right, so second half, R.J. Gunn gets going. Good ball movement. Mason Hawks hits a good baseline three. After they were down double digits, you'd built the biggest lead. They start this three-point barrage to get themselves back into
it. Yeah, the way they shoot it, they shoot a lot of threes. And we said earlier, they shoot 49% from the three coming in this game. You knew at some point they was going to start making some shots. But the thing is, I always say how can you withstand a run, and we did that.
The big play, I think the steal, Caleb Hodnett for the Pioneers. You seem like you're having one of those big plays when you're winning basketball games, especially defensively.
Yes, we need those big plays. You got to have those big plays, especially against good teams like this, to seal the game. And then you see Caleb get the steal and give it to Dylan for the finish.
And I do believe that was it. Some of the numbers on this game for the Pioneers: you shoot just 34%, but you hold them to 29% shooting. It's a team that was coming into the game shooting 49% from the field. I believe probably one of the biggest eye-opening experiences for Coach Everett Sullivan, unfortunately, was the fact that you really defended his team very nicely.
Yes, I mean, we try to match up with him, get to shooters, and that's what our biggest thing is, running them off the three-point line.
R.J. Gunn finishes with 22 for the Bears. Trenton Gibson goes for 19. Caleb Hodnett, one shy of a career best in rebounding, finishing with 12 rebounds in the contest. Pioneers, once again, strong offensive rebounds. They had 19 in the contest for the team leading the nation. Next game, Catawba, Saturday during Thanksgiving, and again, kind of a bit of a struggle offensively for your side, but Catawba coming in, I believe you felt like they could have been one of the best teams in the South Atlantic Conference, and I'm sure you still believe they're a very good team. Were they surprising to you? Did they surprise you in any way?
No, I mean, I tell you, the one thing they did, they surprised me, is the pace they play. It's hard to get them sped up. We did that late and was able to get some turnover, but that comes with having 5 or 6 seniors. I know they're starting fives, all seniors. So having those guys, speeding them up a little bit, and the pace that they play on a consistent basis was a surprise to me.
They got up to as many as 14, a 14-point lead in the contest. You're able to kind of get back into it. I'm sure you had to ramp up a little bit of the defensive pressure. You're not necessarily real comfortable doing that, I think, just yet, but did your team respond?
Yeah, we did. It was one of the things we do practice every day is our press. I mean, we try to speed them up, and we got us out of the zone a little bit, but it helped because we did make some turnovers and get some layups, get some steals late in the game, and put ourselves back into the game.
Marcel Haskett goes for 20 points for Catawba. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up, but you had some young kids that stepped up in the game too that we've seen coming along, whether it was Josh Scott or Justin Mitchell, Dyquavis Wilkins, who had a solid game against the Bears too. Here's some young guys that are really starting to put a fingerprint somewhat on this team.
Yes, I mean, when we recruited those guys, that's why we took all young guys, and those guys are winners. I mean, you take Joshua Scott, who's won 3 out of 4 high school state championships, and was coached very well, and he's brought it to the floor. Dyquavis Wilkins, same way. And Justin Mitchell's a born scorer. He's just got to get it better on the defensive end. And this game, these guys did a really good job.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights. Tusculum versus Catawba. Coach is going to lead me through some of them. I watched it through some live stats, but I missed this. But I know that a Catawba team, when you got Haskett and some of the others that are on this side, Devin Cooper and several others, it is a senior-laden team, and they got off to a good start.
Yes, they did. I mean, as you see right here, we trap, kick it back out, 3, not in a hurry, and that was when we was in our zone, and we try to speed them up here late. They breathe our press, got a dunk. So that team right there, boy, we try to everything we could to get them going, speed them up early, but we was able to do it late.
Justin Mitchell comes up with the 3. See him early in this first half for the Pioneers as well. And again, able to go inside, and that's Josh Scott, so a couple of these young kids.
Yes, we did. I mean, we went high-low, and we knew it was going to be a matchup problem with that, and we went in and out, and Josh was able to finish.
All right, so a Pioneer team, see Haskett hit a 3. Again, it's contested, and you're going to get that from him, and then they're able to get out on the press, too.
That's the one thing you can't do. You can't let them get out on transition because these guys are really good, very big-time athletes, and they can score the ball.
All right, early in this game, in the first half, Catawba went up 20-16, but they go on a 7-0 run to take the largest lead with a couple of free throws left here in this first half, and he continued his chip away, and another guy that really continues to impress for this Pioneer team, the young kids, Justin Mitchell and Josh Scott.
Yeah, as you seen right there, Cam King got a 50-50 ball, and then Josh finished it up with a dunk.
And Cam coming in, too, has been a guy that, as we talked about in the Lenore-Rhine game, hits some big shots, also a couple of more free throws in the Lenore-Rhine game as well. Driving in, still here in the first half, again, Catawba tried to put themselves and give themselves some distance, but Tariq Jenkins, again, when he penetrates, one of the best.
Yes, he is. And when he causes a lot of problems. Plus, he can finish at the rim. And you see Joshua Scott hit the corner three-point shot off of Brandon Mitchell's rebound.
Into the second half, Trenton Gibson, who finished with 17 points, and I think you'd like to see him do a little bit more of that, too, get a little bit even closer to the rim.
Yes, and as I told him, he went to the line, 9 times. So when he gets to the rim like that, we're pretty good.
Under 3 minutes to play here, and I think you're going to see a big shot coming up for the Pioneers to tie the game. Mitchell coming up with the reverse. Catawba gets out on the break. Can't finish in close right away. How is when the game goes along, these young kids, do they realize where they are in the game? All of a sudden, the big three ties the game up at 71, and what happens after that? Do they kind of lose focus a little bit?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, because they're so young and they're so used to playing in a certain way and being the guy on their teams. And I don't even bring it. I didn't even know the score. At that time,
yeah.
I knew it was close. I knew he was making a run. That was our biggest thing, to close the gap. And as you see, these guys, we sped them up a little bit and was able to get some turnovers.
You continue to focus on Cam King, who's really starting to emerge. You see Justin Mitchell hitting a shot off the dribble, and then again, Dylan Smith gets the ball in close. You guys are able to finish. Continue to chip away at this lead, especially late in the contest. Smith, again, inside three-point territory, has been pretty consistent for you.
Yeah, he made some big shots. I mean, especially, he hasn't been shooting the ball well at all, but when he does score, it's when we need it. And as you see him, he pulled up for the jump shot in the middle, and then right here you see the 3 from Josh to tie the game. I think is what it was.
So tie the game at 71, and then more or less, I think just Catawba clamping down a little bit on defense and getting some easy points in transition.
Yes, I mean, we had a chance. I don't think the clip was on there where Justin Mitchell got the rebound. I mean, if he threw the ball out, it was almost like a run out for them. But if Cam King catches it, scores, he's a hero. So, you can't – we've made some unfortunate turnovers down the stretch, but that's a sign of – I take the full blame of that because, maybe I have one timeout. I thought about calling it, but the guys did a really good job of fighting back, and we just fell a little short.
The analytics of all of this that we talk about is the fact that you're not shooting to where you would like to be shooting. We're actually a little bit below probably the league average. Defensively, you're doing quite well, and you're losing some tight games, almost 1 to 2 possession games. You're winning some tight games as well. Where do you need to see this team improve the most going forward here in December?
We got to continue to rebound the ball. We got to continue to play defense in the half court the same way, but we got to be able to execute in the half court. We got to be able to score the ball. I mean, that's the biggest thing. We're shooting, I think, 27% from the three-point line. I think 39% from the field as a team. We got to get better at that, and I think we will because I'm the type coach. We put so much emphasis on defense first, the offense will catch up.
Pioneers go 1-1 in the week against Lenoir-Rhyne and Catawba. Now face Newberry after almost a week off. We'll talk about that when we come back with more Pioneer basketball with JT Burton.
So much of life these days is rushing around from one place to another. Sometimes you just want to enjoy the journey on the way to the destination. And part of what makes it a little more enjoyable is an appreciation for the folks who help you get there. At Ingalls, we know that the people who send you on your way are the same ones who keep you coming back.
I think you should take it for a spin. Are you serious?
Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
We are in.
Up the year 1-1 in league play with the win against Lenoir-Rhyne and Catawba, but now it's just league play. It's a 22-game grueling schedule, and you go on the road for the most part for the better time in December. You're only at home one time. It starts this Saturday against the Newberry Wolves. New coach Jason Taylor. Here's a guy who's used to winning. Here's a guy that took Anderson to the top in the South Atlantic Conference NCAA tournaments, had one of the best players ever in league play, and then went to Tennessee Tech for a little while as an assistant coach. Now back in the league with Newberry, and he's got Angelo Sales Jr. and some other guys. This is going to be a good challenge for your team Saturday.
It's going to be a big time challenge because coach has done a really good job of changing their program. He's been in this league, so he knew the lay of the land before he even got here. I was fortunate enough to coach with him. Against him when he was at Tennessee Tech. I was assistant at Morehead State, so I know him pretty well. He's done a really good job. He upset Catawba at their place. So, boy, this league right here, this next 20 games is going to be grueling.
All right, so it's Angelo Sales Jr., but it's not Dave Davis's 5 in, 5 out either. But what he will focus in on is his best players. If his best players are playing, they're in. And I think at times Newberry could have probably been one of the best teams in the league. Their best players were on the floor for the better part of that. You know, obviously you know him a little bit, and it's not any different from playing anybody else, but how will it change Newberry to have some of these best guys on the floor for the better part of the game?
It changes everything because now you got to stay with them. You don't have to worry about them coming out. I mean, guys, they're going to get a rhythm, and they don't make mistakes. They're going to make open shots. They're going to get the ball to the right people. And so far, I mean, I haven't really, dived in on them, but I've watched them play a little bit. And these guys, man, they are really good. It's a different Newberry team. It's nothing against the former head coach. It's just the style of play is different.
It is going to be a totally different thing. And Dave Davis, obviously, with all those wins, doing something right, and it worked out for him. Going to miss him being in the league as well. The Pioneers and the Newberry Wolves will be Saturday. They'll tip it off at 4 o'clock from Eliezer Arena in Newberry, South Carolina. Listen to that on the Pioneer Sports Network, also through the Newberry website, athletic website as well. For everyone behind the scenes here at the Pioneer Sports Network, he's JT Burton. I'm Brian Staten. Until next week, go Pioneers.